starting stream. And ladies and gentlemen, welcome into the South Point Arena for the second game, the D3Hoops.com Classic. On day one, it is women's basketball action as we get ready for the number 3 team in the country to take on the UC Santa Cruz Banana Slugs. It is Amherst versus UCSC. I'm Dave McHugh alongside Pat Coleman as we get ready for this battle of East Coast versus West Coast, Pat. And Amherst loves to come here as a defending champ, as we have noted in the first broadcast. They are the defending national champions once again. Of course, the coaching staff in the outstanding shirts and attire. They will take on Santa Cruz, the team that, as much as Amherst has changed their mascot, USSC will always be my favorite. The Banana Slugs, who enter 2-8, Mammoths entering 7-0. Get your starting lineups in just a moment. This is a game for Amherst to get back into the swing of things after starting the season, as we mentioned, 7-0, taking the holiday break. They are actually headed further west after this. They will have a trip out to play a couple SCIAC teams, including Redmond. I think Chapman was the other one. They will drive out there in a few days, but they got to get through here first. Of course, next up will be Trine tomorrow. Trine will be in attendance to watch this one, but let's be honest, they got to get past the Banana Slugs first. They don't want to overlook this USCS squad.
Yeah, UCSC comes into the game at 2-8. Only one of those games is a win against a Division III opponent. But in the past, they've had some pretty good seasons. They've come off of a run here where they've had 5 consecutive winning seasons, including going 18-7 and 17-8 in back-to-back years a couple years ago. So, it's tough as an independent on the West Coast, tough as an independent anywhere. Yeah. But in the San Francisco area, there is nobody else, literally nobody else in Division III out there. So sometimes it's hard to find games. We are glad to have them here at the D3Hoops.com Classic.
Let's take a look at the starting lineups for this one. We'll start with the Mammoths of Amherst, who are considered the road team in this one, the visitors. At guard, it will be number 12, Madeline Eck, the 5'9" sophomore from Rye, New York. Also at guard, number 25, Hannah Fox, 5'7" sophomore from Plymouth Meeting, Pennsylvania. Also at guard, number 14, Emma McCarthy, the 6-foot junior from Shelton, Connecticut. She's also kind of more forward, I should say. At forward, Hannah Hackley, the 6'1" senior from Westford, Massachusetts. And for Amherst, the other forward, a 6'1" sophomore from Cam Hendricks from Glastonbury, Connecticut. Quickly before we get this one tipped off, the starting lineup for Santa Cruz. Number 2, Jenna Sparks, 6-foot junior forward from Castro Valley, California. Number 3, Katie Young, 5'6" junior guard from Sunnyvale, California. Number 11, CJ Katina, the 5'3" sophomore guard from San Francisco, California. Number 12, Kim Tom, the 5'7" senior guard from Daly City, California. Number 21, Caitlin Stevenson, the 5'11" junior forward from Palmdale, California.
And Amherst is going to have a size advantage. They're going to have an experience advantage. And, of course, you're coming off a season in which you played 33 games, won the national championship. That's a bit of an experience gap in a lot of cases. Coming in right in a 40-game winning streak. So it'll be interesting to see, what are the parts of Amherst's game that UC Santa Cruz can combat? What can they do to, make this game competitive and that sort of thing? Because not to put too fine a point on it, but one team is the defending national champ. The other team's won one game against a Division III opponent. So the story for Santa Cruz will be to see how much of that can you overcome. How much can you change the storyline?
Well, really, how much do you not get shocked by the glare of Amherst as we get a whistle off ball before the tip? So we'll re-tip, much to the delight of the players, and we're underway here in beautiful Las Vegas.
Especially here inside.
Yeah, 8th annual D3Hoops.com Classic. Amherst is in their purple uniforms, moving right to left with white numbers and trim. They're more of a dark black.
That's a black,
purple,
actually, yeah.
I just assumed it was purple. There's a little purple trim in there as we start off with a foul. It's going to be a foul on the Slugs, number 21, who centered it off. Stevenson, their tallest player at 5'11". Yeah, I was going to say, I was just assuming it was purple.
Nope.
No, that is black. So a little different look for Amherst this season.
Well, the lighting could stand to be upgraded in here.
I agree. They're going to upgrade a few things we've been told in this arena, which will be nice. And the pass intended for the interior of McCarthy is no good, and it is a turnover, and the Slugs get their first possession of this game. Yeah, the temps in here, by the way, balmy at this point. I figure 80 degrees. As the pass inside, no good. Stevenson intended target, I believe, was Sparks. And actually, I misspoke. Sparks, the tallest player on this team at 6 foot. So another turnover, and we're back in the other direction.
Well, and Amherst lost a lot of players off of that national championship team. But,
yes,
you know, they always have.
They always reload.
Right, and they've always had the ability when they're playing, you know, strong defensively against opposing teams, like holding Tufts to 29 points in the national title game. You get the opportunity to play a lot of players. So a lot of people got experience last year, and some of those are getting the opportunity to shine here in 2017-18.
Here, the Banana Slugs, you got to be thrilled right now. First 2 possessions for Amherst down the court. They've only allowed 2 shots, and nobody's made one. And so, good start for USCS here.
I particularly liked the mismatch between CJ Cantina, who's listed at 5'3", against defender Cam Hendricks, who's 6'1".
Missed opportunity for the Banana Slugs. Here comes Amherst the other direction, and quickly in, but deflected out by Stevenson. Amherst holds on to possession. Shot from the elbow is up and good. And the first points of the game from Eck gives Amherst the 2-0 lead. We saw the Santa Cruz men's team here last season. And in between that and the women's team here, vote on the campus on whether they would keep athletics as part of the campus's activities, including extra bills to be paid by the student athlete, or by the students, I should say. And it was approved twice, technically, as the basket is good for Banana Slugs, tying the game at 2. So that fully funded as much as it can be, I guess you could say, for the Banana Slugs moving forward.
Well, yeah, exactly. Given an opportunity to continue participating in athletics, which at a commuter school of more than 10,000, you know, maybe a student vote is not such a guarantee, because athletics doesn't impact a significant amount of the student body like it would at a small liberal arts college like Amherst.
Young, the long 3-pointer, hit backboard, but nothing else. And here comes Amherst the other direction. We're tied at 2, 7:20 left to go. Nice inside feed, shot up, no good. The pass by Hendricks, the shot by McCarthy. And yeah, the first vote was questioned. There was a lot of debate as to whether it was a legit vote on both sides. So there was a second vote, and it was overwhelmingly, I think, in favor, though many would argue not many voted. But that seems to be more of a problem of the entire country than it is necessarily of their campus.
Nice there by Hannah Hackley.
Yeah, Hackley had a wide open opportunity, made it work, and an early 4-2 lead here for Mammoths. Of course, in the meantime, since we've seen Amherst in anything in basketball, they have finally gotten a new mascot and officially and a logo for that mascot. About halfway through last year's season, they announced they would be the Mammoths, and just before this season, they finally announced that the logo would look like a interesting woolly mammoth. We've actually had to change the color on the scoreboard to gray, if you're wondering at home, just so you can see their logo, because otherwise it matches too closely to the background color.
Well, and just, you know, Hackley started in last year's championship game. Eck played 10 minutes off the bench in last year's championship game. Jackie Nagel was a key contributor. She played 14 minutes off the bench in last year's title game as well. Emma McCarthy started last year. But those are the remaining players. The Doswell sisters graduated, of course. Jamie Renner, you know, no longer with the squad, stuff like that. There's been a significant amount of turnover, and even though they're ranked highly at number 3 and at 7-0, I would certainly think that GP Ramacki has questions about where this squad really stands heading into NESCAC play, which starts after break.
And a push on defense here on the intended screen. In the meantime, Santa Cruz turned the ball over on their previous possession due to a travel. We said it's a balmy high 70s here in the arena.
In the building.
It's a beautiful balmy high 60s outside. I've been told it's about 18 at home, and I'm sure at your place it's even colder than that. And I'm sure in Amherst, Massachusetts, and in New England, it is colder than that. It is probably not colder in beautiful Santa Cruz, California.
I'm going to try to figure out why we don't have live stats link posted.
That happens as much as we lose the internet. Long 2 on the way, no good for the Mammoths. And if I slip into the old mascot, please forgive me. It keeps popping up into my head. I will do my best over the much contested mascot. Less than 5.5 to play in the first quarter here. Santa Cruz trailing by 2 in a not surprisingly low-scoring game. And they've taken the lead on the three-pointer in the corner by Young.
CJ Cantina, I think, on that shot.
It was Cantina. You're right.
That's a nice use the window, too. They left her a lot of space to work with, and she made them pay for it. She's, 31% from downtown on the season. Nope. 38% from downtown.
Amherst comes down and misses the opportunity inside, and so the Banana Slugs, who will sub in a few players, will get a chance to extend their 1-point lead. Coming into the game, Stevenson, who had subbed out earlier, along with number 33, Suansi Pereira, the 5'9" sophomore forward from Rancho Santa Margarita, California. That's
easy for you to say.
Yeah. It's not often you get 3 names. Or 3 words in a
You thought
name.
you were done, right?
I was. My brain had checked out after Santa Maria, or Rancho Santa. Also into the game, we didn't get a chance to mention Catherine Malden, the 5'10" junior forward from Romano, California. Shot clock down to 4, shot forced up, off glass, no iron. Santa Cruz doesn't realize it, shot clock violation. So it went off the backboard, didn't catch iron. They got the rebound, but didn't realize it hadn't reset and turned the ball over to Amherst. 5-4 the lead for the Banana Slugs. I'm Dave McHugh alongside Pat Coleman here at the 8th Annual D3Hoops.com Classic. It is game 2 of 5 for today and 15 for the tournament. An uncharacteristic, evenly scheduled tournament this season of 5 games a day as we get a foul inside on the help defense from Stevenson.
I was chatting with Gordon Mann, our usual third member of our crew who's not able to join us this year, and I said, yeah, it's 3 easy days, and now the 5-game day is an easy day.
Yeah, that says something.
Compared to 6s. Did we ever actually have a 7?
I don't believe we ever did a 7.
That's good.
Certainly physically possible. Checking into the game for the Banana Slugs is Brianne Yola, and there was someone else. We'll figure it out who it is.
That 10 p.m. tip-off would be pretty ugly.
It's more about a 10 a.m. with an 8. I think that you can pull it off. Subbing in for Amherst as well, it is Megan Sullivan.
Well, 10 a.m.
junior from Grand
10 a.m. with an 8 only gets us 6 games.
Oh, I apologize. You're right. So it would be a 10 and a 10. Yeah, never mind. That would be fair. We've had a 10 o'clock tip-off, but it's not with a 10 a.m. tip-off. Stepped out of bounds and will turn over as Young lost track of where she was on the floor. Yeah, I don't think we've had a 10 a.m. and a 10 p.m. in the same day.
I hope not.
believe that's ever happened.
If not, I've blissfully wiped that from my memory.
We're used to having maybe a 2-game set or even a 3-game set with a bunch of big days, but this year a nice set of 5s across the board. Nice dribbling so far, and a foul is going to be away from the ball as McCarthy was trying to set up on the post. That foul is going to be, I believe, on Maudlin. It is on Maudlin.
This is an interesting 4-game road trip for Amherst. They start with this game today. They play Trine tomorrow, and then they're off to drive to continue on another 4 hours to Southern California. Then they play at Chapman, and then play Redlands at Chapman also.
Player control foul called, and we'll be back to the Slugs
on the 31st and the 1st.
Yeah.
So,
when we were talking to GP, we ran into him yesterday, and he made a comment. This will be the first time they've come here, and I think this is their 3rd trip where they haven't stayed for New Year's. They usually at least stay for New Year's and catch the fireworks downtown. He said, darn it all, we scheduled another tournament. We got to leave. He did seem disappointed in that fact.
I think it's their 3rd scheduled trip, but it's only the 2nd time they've actually been here. Remember, they got snowed out in 2010?
That's true.
First D3Hoops.com Classic in which 2 teams failed to show because of snow. Yep.
Scranton had a player show up.
No, Amherst had a player show up.
Was it the Amherst? Oh, I thought it was Scranton.
They had a player from Cincinnati who was able to make it. And nobody else. They were thinking about, Amherst was seriously thinking about busing 12 hours west to get to an airport that had a flight to Las Vegas. And we told, hey, it's okay. We can see you some other time.
Foul puts Stevenson on the line, who's a team's leading rebounder, assists, steals, blocks, and turnovers. Not that you want to lead in the 3rd one. 12th in the country in defensive rebounds per game at 9 as she hits one of the 2 free throws. We will get our scoreboard up to date. I apologize. 6-6 tie ball game as the air ball, uncharacteristic from Hackley, who may be struggling a little bit with the shot line, I guess. And we get a few subs coming in. We'll reset the floor.
Well, this is significantly different from Lafrec Gymnasium, right? Yeah, if I were GP, I would think about bringing out the tape measure. It's 15 feet from the free throw line, 10 feet to the rim. Yeah. Exact same dimensions. Do the whole Hoosiers thing.
Out here for the Santa Cruz now, it is Young along with Stevenson. Young correction, that is Ulo with the ball. Now Young with it. Nice feed inside to Sparks. Can't get the shot to fall. And here comes Amherst the other direction.
Yeah, got to make a strong move to the basket. It's like she pulled up and she wanted to try to initiate or try to draw contact instead of just taking it up and going straight to the basket with it.
McNamara hands off to Sullivan. Sullivan passes to Eck, and Eck feeds inside to Hendricks, who tried to then feed her teammate, and it was nowhere there. So coming the other direction in a tie ball game, 6-6. Low-scoring affair, not a surprise. Amherst coming in with one of the most stingy defenses in the country. It is the first in the country at 38.6 points allowed per game. And no one will forget what they did to Tufts in the championship game.
Hey,
last
at least
year.
You weren't there. I definitely won't forget.
Yeah.
That was painful.
Not that it was all that surprising that those two teams would hook up for a low-scoring affair, but Tufts, outside of the first quarter, was in it. It was the first quarter where they got just.
Where they were down 7-2 at the end of one, 20-6 at the half, and then rallied a little bit in the third, but then got blown out 20-8 in the fourth. 52-29, just not a ball game.
Amherst not shooting well here, but it's that first quarter, that 7-2 score, which I second-guessed every time I looked at it from the men's championship. I thought maybe we had a typo.
Nope, that was legit.
Feed inside, and a foul will be called as Amherst's defense a little slow. They're just, really, their feet aren't there right now, it appears.
But, I mean, that's the type of game
like
Amherst wants to win that way.
Yep. Agreed.
And they've done it this year. They've done it to the tune of 81-38, 69-36 against Springfield, typically a pretty good squad in women's action, 72-54 over Eastern Connecticut. They beat Farmingdale 74-34 and Bridgewater State 74-30, but they've had 19 days without a game. That's one of the longest gaps that you would see from a national contender like Amherst. So there may be some just kind of getting their feet back underneath them.
And really, I think that's it. And nothing against the Banana Slugs, but this is the type of team that GP probably would like to have his team face before taking on Trine. I'd love to have seen him play someone else, but sometimes you just can't get the schedules to align perfectly.
Whereas Santa Cruz has played 3 games since then. They hosted They hosted a tournament with Wartburg and Catholic a couple weeks, not even a couple weeks ago, 8 days ago. They played at Linfield. They played at George Fox.
And California schools coming more and more popular in those hosting opportunities. The ball goes out of bounds with 3 seconds on the shot clock. Will not matter as it's rewarded to the Slugs.
Well, again, when you're an independent, you need to get games, and you need to get them early.
Absolutely. That was kind of my slide, was to say that that you need to find ways to get games as an independent because you don't have the conference to lean back on. Yep. And they won't fit in the SCIAC very well either, obviously coming out of Northern California. So they're kind of out on their own little remote island. It's a missed shot there from Tom, and here comes Amherst the other direction, trailing 8-6, and now leading by 1 off the three-pointer. It's Sullivan with the shot. I believe it was
Sullivan.
Megan Sullivan, not Kate Sullivan.
Yep.
Her younger sister who has not gotten into the game. Banked 3 response. Santa Cruz not afraid. It's 11-9. Banana Slugs up on the shot from Sparks.
Yeah, nice shot by Sparks. It's her first made 3 ball of the season, and sometimes it takes people stepping up when you're trying to pull off an upset.
Shot near wing up, no good. Amherst cold so far from the field. And the ball ends up in the Slugs' hands. They got a mini break on hand, but they will back it out. Nope, Young's going to take it. Bounce in. They got 2 seconds on the game clock for the end of the quarter. Missed the shot, but more importantly, the Banana Slugs are going into the end of the first quarter with an 11-9 lead on Amherst.
Hey, if this were the CBA, they just would have gotten a point in the standings, right?
That's true.
No, I mean, that's big for the Banana Slugs. Obviously, it's a game in which it sounds like we're writing them off early, only because they're 2-8 and the other team's the defending champ. But they definitely have some things that are working for them. If their shots continue to fall, they can continue to be a problem. They're 2 for 4 from outside, and that's a big break for them right now.
We'll take a break. Amherst, the number 3 team in the country, trailed by 2 to the Banana Slugs of UC Santa Cruz at the 8th annual D3Hoops.com Classic here at South Point.
For the love of the game. That's what it's all about, they say. But for those of us who are Division III student athletes, it's more than that.
It's more about team and the schools and communities we represent.
And for the many of us blessed with the strength to compete in sport at the college level, we understand that, with what we were given, comes a special obligation.
Our obligation to help those who have their own special needs and whose love for the game is no less intense.
That is why NCAA Division III teamed up with Special Olympics. Since August of 2011, we and others from Division III campus communities have volunteered more than 250,000 hours, time away from the classroom and practice field, reaching across the country to coach and mentor Special Olympics athletes.
And to learn that in giving, we receive so much more in return. Help us keep that dream alive.
Be part of it.
Get involved.
You can make a difference.
Welcome back to the South Point Arena. We talk about the officials don't waste time. They don't. We're underway in the second quarter already, as Santa Cruz missed its first opportunity down the court and a foul called as Amherst is on possession. Has possession.
First period stats quickly. Jenna Sparks with the leading scorer. She's got 5 points. Katina with the 3. She's got 3. 3 of 11 from the floor, 2 of 4 from downtown, 3 of 4 from the line. Pretty similar for Amherst. 3 of 12 from the floor, 1 of 4 from downtown, 2 of 2 from the line.
First free throw up and no good for Eck. Eck coming into the game, I marked it as the best free throw shooter, but they don't take a lot of free throws, amazingly enough. And she's the only one with significant free throws. She's a 54% free throw shooter, though, and missed both.
Well, I think when you try to play the game at this pace, right?
Yeah.
You're not necessarily attacking the basket, at least in a fast break or up tempo way. You don't generally draw as many free throws. I think that makes some sense.
Feet in the corner, 3 on the way. Front iron, no good for Katina. And will come the other direction. She was wide open for the shot, nearly got her own rebound, just left it short. Of course, she got the three-pointer that gave the Slugs their first lead of the game. And a foul, I think 3-second violation actually called on Amherst. Checking into the game for the Mammoths, it'll be Hackley. The Westford, Massachusetts native re-enters the game. 9:03 left to go here in the quarter. Amherst finds themselves down by 2. Not going to be able to tell you right now the last time Amherst trailed.
Oh, well, I mean, at some point I'm sure somebody scored first.
Possibly, but knowing them as well. Ball's going to go out of bounds as expecting contact, I think, was Katina. Oh, they're going to call it off Amherst. I thought I saw it go off the shoulder of Katina, but it doesn't matter. The Slugs hold on to the ball with an 11-9 lead, less than 9 to play here in the quarter.
The last time they trailed was, let's see, in the first quarter of their most recent game, they trailed 9-3 to Bridgewater State before roaring back with a 71-21 run to end the game.
Oh, that sounds familiar to something we've seen here in the past.
With that team.
13-9 lead now for Santa Cruz.
Hey, you know what? They're not intimidated, and
no.
Kudos to them.
Absolutely.
And a steal. Get extra offensive possession. You know, Amherst has got to start playing this game at full speed.
Amherst is definitely not fully there.
They have to work their way. I understand you have to work your way back into things, but
no, they're
time to play basketball.
Yeah. It's a little slipping and sliding on the floor. You hear enough squeaks, too. So nice behind the back dribble that time for Hackley as she comes up court. Correction, that was McNamara. McNamara returns, gets the ball returned to her. McCarthy out there along with Eck. In possession right now is Nagel on a missing one. There's someone else on it's number 20, Hackley.
They try to throw into
Another
double
steal.
coverage underneath.
Yeah.
Not a good pass.
Even if you have height advantage, throwing into a double team doesn't always work.
Well, then you need to throw it up,
Yeah,
and she did not take advantage of that. Threw it at chest height.
Kicking violation. Shot clock will stay at 21. One of those many things I'm going to have to remember about the differences between the men's and women's rules. Granted, the men's clock wouldn't have changed either, but
well, right.
It would have been close. Got to get the ball in. Finally does. And the foul is going to be – nope, they're just going to call ball out of bounds, it appears. Got away with one there, I think, did Hackley, as she got a good shove in on the deflection. 21 on the shot clock, 7:34 left to go on the game clock here in the second quarter, and that score, if you're just tuning in, is accurate. The Banana Slugs of UCSC, I'll get it right, will have the lead.
Yeah, we don't throw upset alert tags out until the second half, but
legal screen called on the interior, and that'll give the Amherst back the ball as the shot clock was expiring. Yeah, upset alerts aren't really upset alerts until the second half. First half can mean a lot of different things. Way too early.
But it means that Amherst cannot simply just show up and expect to win this game.
That's true. And if they did, They are quickly waking up here to the fact that Santa Cruz doesn't mind playing at their tempo. I think Santa Cruz almost welcomes playing a slower game. And missed shot there for Eck, and now a jump ball called. Possession will remain with Amherst.
I think there's some sense to be made of that. They only have 8 players who play more than 10 minutes a game. So
absolutely, that's why I think they're more than happy to play this pace. This is kind of probably one of the rare teams that Amherst faces that doesn't mind this pace. Nice inside feed, though, but a missed shot from McCarthy.
And then a foul on the rebound.
And then a foul. So Amherst doubling down right now on the mistakes. Missing an easy shot inside, then they get a foul on the switch of possession. 94 feet from the other basket as Katina checks out. And Yulo checks in, and GP Gramacki says, we need to talk.
Yeah.
And calls timeout.
He's not wrong.
30.
He's not wrong.
No,
this
absolutely.
is not what you expect to see from a Amherst team. I don't know what you expect to see from a Mammoths team, so it's not what I expect to see from an Amherst team.
Got a chance to see a couple of the top 10 teams in women's basketball so far this season, Christopher Newport being one of them. And it's amazing the difference in the game between these two. Christopher Newport, who did lose to Thomas More before the holiday break in a uncharacteristically blowout for the Christopher Newport. But point being, opposite to the nth degree of the Amherst style.
Yeah.
Christopher Newport all over the floor, high pace, in your face, aggressive defense. It's pretty surprising.
Well, and I think Amherst will play not up and down the floor, but they'll play in your face aggressive defense.
Right. They're just willing to be a little slower paced.
Deliberative.
Yeah. They won't guard you necessarily 94 feet unless they have to.
Right.
I do wonder how long till GP decides to do that as he has a conversation with the official as Santa Cruz has the ball. Ball gets popped loose, is losing track of where the defense was Pereira. And here comes Amherst the other direction in the corner, three-pointer on the way. That one looked pretty.
Now that was a possession that would be reminiscent of Amherst basketball.
Hannah Fox with the three-pointer and cuts the lead to 1.
Well, I think as a coach you always like it when your team comes out of a timeout
Yeah.
doing something positive, doing something maybe that you told them to do even.
Yes.
It just needs a little bit of spark. There's no spark right now for Amherst, or at least not before that play.
It feels like they're going through the motions, to be blunt.
Yep.
Stevenson with possession, 7 on the shot clock, spin move, puts it up on the right, off glass, no good. Crash for the rebound will go off Amherst, much to the chagrin of McCarthy, who thought it got deflected off somebody else. Young will check into the game for the Banana Slugs, and out of the game goes Tom. Kim Tom, the easiest name to remember for anybody here.
Shortest name in the program.
And somehow it ends up in the hands of Yulo, despite the fact that that was not her intended target herself. Shot, no good. Amherst battles themselves to the rebound. Quickly up ahead, no good. Another shot, and that one falls.
Yeah,
so,
nice follow and nice put back there by Emma McCarthy.
Yeah. And Amherst regains the lead for the first time in a while. It is 14-13. Mammoths up on Slugs.
First bucket of the afternoon for McCarthy. She's got 4 points now.
Slugs looking to regain the lead. Stevenson kick out, shot from the elbow. That one will fall, and the Slugs regain the lead.
Nice shot, Catherine Malden. Gets the basket, gets the roll, and it's a shot that they needed because otherwise Amherst get an opportunity to go up by multiple possessions and maybe very quickly put this game away.
Slugs starting to accelerate a little bit on defense.
Well, they have to. Amherst is accelerated on offense, so.
Milo almost got a steal there. Shot up, not exactly how you practice it, but it counts all the same. And Amherst regains the lead, 16-15. Slugs cross the timeline.
I thought McCarthy looked good there. It may not be exactly the way you draw that up, but that's the way you got to play sometimes.
A lot of contact, no call. Probably the right call. His offense kind of instituted the contact. Ball goes out of bounds off the deflection by Hackley. And coming into the game for Amherst is Eck, and the Slugs will bring in 3 new players.
Yep, Katina comes back into the game. Kim Tom is back in as well.
And
Katie Young.
Jenna Sparks re-enters the game.
Young and Sparks and Malden make up the 5 on the floor right now for the Banana Slugs.
10 on the shot clock off the inbounds. Katina loses control, gets it back. 4 seconds on the shot clock. Going to have to force it by Tom and gets it blocked out of bounds. With 1 second on the shot clock, it's easy when you know the shot's coming because it has to come, and an easy block there by Hackley.
Yeah, and here this is a unique challenge for the Slugs because you do not have the size to pull off one of those loft pass inbounds.
But they do it anyway, and the shot, though, is deflected right into an Amherst hand.
Yeah.
Good no stop of the game there. I like that no call by the official.
You just want the game to keep moving.
Yeah, and we have too many times where that is stopped.
No, that's true.
Looked like maybe a shuffle
drag
step.
of the foot,
yeah, but no call. It doesn't matter. The shot was missed by Hackley. Here come the Slugs. 3-pointer on the way. Katina no good. Off the backboard. Hackley gets the easy rebound.
Because the Banana Slugs gave up on it. They thought it was going to go over the backboard and out of bounds.
Feed inside. Off the foot. Can't keep it from going out of bounds is McCarthy, and the Slugs have possession again. 3:34 left to go here in the second quarter. Slugs down 1 to Amherst, and they've led by as many as 3, I believe. Tried to feed inside to Sparks, and finally turning her head around and spotting it was McCarthy, and it goes out of bounds. It will belong to the Mammoths.
McCarthy's had a really good second quarter here. She's got a team high 6 points. In fact, a game high 6 points. 4 of them here in the second. You know, she's provided a little bit of spark.
We have lost the basketball. It rolled away and has disappeared, and they finally found it at the end of the table.
Well, they had
thanks to the fans.
Yeah, they had some spotters up in the stands to tell us where.
By the way, Hendricks back into the game for Amherst. Haven't seen her in a while, the 6'1" sophomore from Glastonbury, Connecticut. She's back into the game. 3:22 left to go. Amherst has possession and a 1-point lead. Nice kiss off the glass with the baby hook in the right hand from Eck. And the lead out to 3 here for Amherst. I dare say their biggest of the game.
You know, I think one of the things when you swap out a bunch of seniors, especially off a successful team like that, is, you know, somebody's got to step up and lead.
Yeah,
right?
That's true.
For a couple of years, there was no real question about who was going to lead for Amherst. Because you could start with anybody named Doswell, and probably find a couple of other players as well. You know, but these sophomores and juniors got to find who's going to be there, who's going to step up, and not just from a scoring perspective, from a leadership, from a motivational perspective, from a rebounding perspective, all sorts of facets of the game that you have to then kind of replace and regenerate every couple of years when your team graduates.
Amherst looked like the team we expected as Hendricks hit the shot off the beautiful pass from Hackley. Now the Slugs find themselves down 5. Missed the shot well short from a short shot anyway. Hackley's coming up, gets an easy layup but misses it. I'm quite sure she was expecting contact, was trying to avoid a foul. Ball goes out of bounds, will belong to the Banana Slugs.
Well, you know, that's one thing I haven't seen that I kind of expected to see so far, Dave, is that we haven't really seen Amherst use its height advantage defensively, especially.
Yeah.
UC Santa Cruz is getting some decent looks, and you should not expect that from a team that probably outquicks them, certainly out-heights them, probably out-schemes them.
Fair.
And they've gotten some open looks, and they're not throwing up junk shots that are falling. They're getting good looks, and Amherst is probably not expecting. You would not expect an Amherst team to give them those kind of looks.
You should note about Todd Kent. He certainly knows Amherst on a national level. He used to be on the national committee. Got kicked off the committee as a steal from Amherst, going the other direction, and layup for 2. Got kicked off the committee because his team joined the GSAC for all of 1 year, and for some reason they decided he was no longer in the West region. If you know Division III basketball, you know that makes no sense.
Many ways that makes no sense. But a nice steal and layup there by Fox.
Yeah. Kent, the first coach in Banana Slugs department history to win 100 games.
Wow. Even tennis? They're good at tennis.
I was just reading the stats that were given to me. Well, I don't know how they technically accumulate. Well, yeah they do. Well, you don't have as many matches. That's the trick.
Not a lot of dual meets in tennis.
Yeah. For sure. Well, you have them, but they don't tend to be as numerous. They don't have as many as basketball.
There's not 25 of them.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
And they did go through that stretch that I described at the beginning of the game with the 5 consecutive winning seasons.
Yeah, they went to back-to-back NCAA tournaments.
Pool B.
As ball goes out of bounds, they said deflected, so stay Banana Slugs possession with 5 seconds on the shot clock.
Another
51.8 on
another
the game.
instance where I think they're going to have tough time getting a shot off here.
Yeah. Well, quick dribble here from Tom. Forces up the shot off the up and under,
iron.
misses it. Rebound, no good though, but a good job by Malden to be in position. She'll go to the free throw line to shoot 2. Down by 9 in a game they've led by 3. As the Slugs have 2 subs ready to come in. The first shot up and good. They went through a spurt though there. Quite a long time, stuck on 15.
Yeah, and stuck on 13 as well. They were up 13-9.
Yep. So an unofficial 11-3 run here, 11-4 run.
Yeah, I had 15-2. An official 15-2 run, and now 15-4.
24-17, 45 seconds left in this half. As Amherst, in this last 5 minutes, starting to look more like the Mammoth squad we're used to. Feed into the corner. Drive, stop, shot, up, and good from Eck. And extends the lead back out to 9 with less than 30 seconds to play here. This will be the last possession most likely because the Slugs don't have a shot clock. Game clock down to 16. Amherst certainly doesn't care if they shoot or not. More than content to let them run
plenty
the
of
clock.
space here.
Yeah. They're going to try and set something up here for Tom. Tom's going to drive, gets the matchup. Left hand, no good, slips and falls. Second left, not going to get off the last shot. Nice idea, though. Nice play to throw it up ahead to Fox to see if she get a look, but it doesn't matter. That is going to draw this one to a close as we've reached halftime.
Well, I mean, Santa Cruz, good first quarter, extended it a little bit into the second quarter. The standard that you're trying to, I think back to past, we've loosely referenced this game, Dave, but in 2011, Amherst was here and they beat WPI 109-39.
That was a game that was close until about halfway through the first half, and then just
until about 3 minutes in.
Up.
Yeah, I don't have a record book entry for biggest run in a game, but that probably
something?
It seems like it had to have been.
It was 50-2.
It certainly could have been. I mean,
Gordon and I were calling that game.
I was in the room.
But
yes,
remember that.
Yeah, that is the biggest margin of victory in a D3Hoops.com Classic game. So for UC Santa Cruz, they're playing a different style of game, and they've had some shots fall, but they'll have to now go into the locker room and figure out how to redraw some things up because over the course of the last 7 minutes or so, things stopped working.
Going to take a lengthy break, catch our breath a little bit, get something to drink. Why don't you go get something to drink, bite to eat? Join us back here in about 10 minutes. We'll go over the first half stats and look at the second half of this Amherst versus Santa Cruz game. Defending champs in the country, number 3 ranked Amherst Mammoths lead the UC Santa Cruz Banana Slugs 26-17 at halftime of the 8th annual D3Hoops.com Classic here at South Point Arena.
Receive a non-athletic scholarship upon entering school.
I got the presidential scholarship, which was huge for me.
I think there's more opportunities for academic scholarships in Division III.
I did receive academic scholarships. Just being involved on campus, being a leader, all those things combined kind of get me recognized. It's a great experience for me.
For the love of the game. That's what it's all about, they say. But for those of us who are Division III student athletes, it's more than that.
It's more about team and the schools and communities we represent.
And for the many of us blessed with the strength to compete in sport at the college level, we understand that with what we were given comes a special obligation.
Our obligation to help those who have their own special needs and whose love for the game is no less intense.
That is why NCAA Division III teamed up with Special Olympics. Since August of 2011, we and others from Division III campus communities have volunteered more than 250,000 hours, time away from the classroom and practice field, reaching across the country to coach and mentor Special Olympics athletes.
And to learn that in giving, we receive so much more in return. Help us keep that dream alive.
Be part of it.
Get involved.
You can make a difference.
I'm a Division III student athlete, and I know how powerful words can be. The term gay doesn't mean stupid, lame, or less than.
So I pledge to speak up if I hear the term gay used in a derogatory way or any other homophobic terms.
If you can play in Division III.
I'm a Division III student athlete, and my teammates unconditionally accepted me as part of their family. So now I pledge to do the same for others. If you can play in Division III.
It's on us to stop sexual assault.
In any way that we can.
To get a friend home safe.
To never blame the victim.
It's on us.
To stand up.
To make our community safe for all. It's on us.
It's on us to look out for each other at parties.
It's on us.
To be more than just a bystander.
To step up and say something.
It's on us, all of us.
To stop sexual assault.
Learn how and take the pledge at itsonus.org.
Great moments are born from great opportunity. That's what you have here tonight. That's what you've earned here tonight. This is your time. Now go out there and take it.
Cheer for the stumbles. The he shoulda had that's. And the tears that linger. For in those moments, greatness lies. There, you will find the provoked, the determined, the unified. It's in those moments that champions are born.
I used to never really talk. Ever. I was scared and shy. It was hard to look at people's faces. I was afraid if I said something wrong, everyone would laugh at me. But then I started to play golf with Special Olympics. I made friends and won lots of gold medals. But I learned more than just playing golf. Special Olympics helped me to find my voice. And now everyone else is speechless.
Division III allows you to give yourself to other things.
Having that free time allows me to pursue the things that I want to pursue.
Division III athletics affords students the opportunity to, engage in the other interests in their campus and in their lives outside of that sport.
It allows you to just be able to do everything you want to do. I wouldn't change it for the world.
For the love of the game. But for those of us who are Division III student athletes, it's more than that, a lot more.
Sure, the game is important, but as we work so hard to build both mind and body, it's more about team.
That is why NCAA Division III teamed up with Special Olympics, and in giving the gift of sport to those for whom it seemed an impossible dream, we are working to make this a better world.
Help us keep that dream alive.
You can make a difference.
I'm a Division III student athlete, and I know how powerful words can be. The term gay doesn't mean stupid, lame, or less than.
So I pledge to speak up if I hear the term gay used in a derogatory way or any other homophobic terms.
If you can play in Division III.
I'm a Division III student athlete, and my teammates unconditionally accepted me as part of their family. So now I pledge to do the same for others. If you can play in Division III.
This is our It's On Us pledge. It's on us to make a personal commitment to help keep all people safe from sexual assault, regardless of race, gender, sexual orientation, or ability.
Not to be bystanders to the problem, but to be leaders of the solution. We invite you to join us in this campaign by informing your campuses about the It's On Us mission.
It starts right when you hit the court. You imagine your finest moment. The game-winning shot that gets you to the dance. A monster dunk or no-look pass, and cutting down the net. Sports lets us dream of our own success and prepare us for our finest moments on and off the court.
For the love of the game. That's what it's all about, they say. But for those of us who are Division III student athletes, it's more than that.
It's more about team and the schools and communities we represent.
And for the many of us blessed with the strength to compete in sport at the college level, we understand that with what we were given comes a special obligation.
Our obligation to help those who have their own special needs and whose love for the game is no less intense.
That is why NCAA Division III teamed up with Special Olympics. Since August of 2011, we and others from Division III campus communities have volunteered more than 250,000 hours, time away from the classroom and practice field, reaching across the country to coach and mentor Special Olympics athletes.
And to learn that in giving, we receive so much more in return. Help us keep that dream alive.
Be part of it.
Get involved.
You can make a difference.
We are calling you, all of you. We are calling all Division III schools to join our cause.
It's on us to start the change. It's on us to be the change. It's on us. It's on Division III. It's on all of us to stop sexual assault.
This is why we love sports. It's in the way they play, free from the pressures and all the money talk. Playing for simply the love of the game, where everyone has a shot at their definition of success on and off the field. This is what we love about sports, and what we can still love about college sports.
Cheer for the stumbles. The he shoulda had that's. And the tears that linger. For in those moments, greatness lies. There, you will find the provoked, the determined, the unified. It's in those moments that champions are born.
These guys are doing it, so it's all up on YouTube. So, hey there, it's on regular YouTube or what YouTube channel? D3 Hoops, D3Sports.com. Is that on stance?
And back out here at the half of the D3Hoops.com Classic, where third-ranked Amherst is leading UC Santa Cruz by the score of 26-17. Taking a look at the stats first for the Banana Slugs, led by Jenna Sparks with 5 points, 1 for 2 from the floor, 1 for 1 from downtown, and 2 for 2 from the foul line. 5 points in her 15 minutes. Kim Tom on 2 of 7 shooting with 4 points, 15 minutes. Also 4 points off the bench for Catherine Malden, 1 of 1 from the floor, 2 for 2 from the foul line. And then it was CJ Katina with 3, Caitlin Stevenson with 1, and Katie Young, Brianne Uyola, Elena Alvarez, and Suhansi Pereira played but did not score for the total of 17 points. Santa Cruz, 5 of 23 from the floor for 22%, 2 for 7 from downtown, 29%, and 5 for 6 from the foul line. 83%. They turned the ball over 12 times compared to 9 for Amherst. They were out-rebounded by Amherst by a total of 18-16 in Amherst, led by Hannah Fox, 7 points on 3 for 6 shooting, 1 for 1 from beyond the arc. Emma McCarthy, 2 for 4 from the floor, 2 for 2 from the line for 6 points. Madeline Eck, 3 for 6 from the floor, 0 for 2 from the line for 6 points as well. Then it was Megan Sullivan with 3, Hannah Hackley with 2, Cam Hendricks with 2. Maeve McNamara and Jackie Nagel played but did not score for the total of 26 points. The Mammoths 11 of 26 from the floor, 42%, 2 for 5 from beyond the arc, and 2 for 4 from the foul line. 13 points off of the 12 Santa Cruz turnovers, and Santa Cruz not able nearly as much to make hay off of Amherst turnovers. Amherst turned over the ball 9 times. Santa Cruz turned that into just 3 points. Amherst also making its living in the paint here in the early going with 12 of its 26 points compared to just 4 points for UC Santa Cruz. And we'll be welcoming back in Dave McHugh as we talked about the height advantage that Amherst had from the get-go. And while we didn't see a lot of it on defense, we definitely see it in those points in the paint numbers where Amherst has scored 12 of their 26.
Yeah, 12 of their 26, despite also struggling in the paint a little bit, which was kind of surprising. But especially in the second half of that second quarter, Amherst started to make their inside presence a little bit more known, a little bit more comfortable. And again, it might just be the fact that they have had 19 days off between games. At least we know they at least have gotten a couple practices in there. Very well could be one of the reasons they're struggling a little bit, but I expect that number to climb in the second half as they get a little bit more comfortable with things.
Yeah, I think so. You get acclimated a little bit. You get your game feet back under you. As we talked about, it was really just 8 days between games for UC Santa Cruz, and it was 19 days for Amherst. And you do not see that very often. A high-quality Division III women's basketball program, you don't see them take that much time off. Usually there's a game somewhere around December 15th, and then they come back and play in a tournament like this one, whereas sometimes you see with other programs, they're content to not play between December 4th and January 3rd.
Yeah, I think the biggest difference is that you see that out of a lot of New England teams because some of them, not necessarily Amherst, want to be alive for ECAC postseason possibilities. So sometimes it's a matter that Amherst just can't find any opponents available.
You have to take a week off somewhere during the course of the season
days.
In order to satisfy the NCAA Division III rules about active weeks.
Well, there's that, and then the ECAC's got this 10-day rule if you want to participate in their postseason on top of that. So, some of these schools take very large breaks. And then the NESCAC, of course, they're not allowed to be playing during the finals per se, as Santa Cruz starts things off with possession and a foul, but misses on the first free throw opportunity for Stevenson as the starters are out there for both teams.
I was just getting mesmerized once again by the GoPro view of right in front of you.
It's kind of a cool angle.
I like it. We use that for like fouls and stuff. I don't know. I got nothing. Center tip.
Yeah, definitely for center tip we've used it.
I know there's a lot of center tips these days. So.
Yeah, feet inside, no good for Amherst as struggling continues for McCarthy.
Yeah, but McCarthy did a smart thing.
Yep.
She pulled it back out.
Got a reset.
Yep.
Drive in off glass, no good for Fox. And so they'll come the other direction. It is 26-18.
It'll be a bit of an adjustment for Amherst here in the larger end of the arena, but Amherst says the same thing at home, actually.
Yeah.
LaFrac is certainly on a much smaller scale.
Granted, they've got a barrier up above that barrier.
But not always.
Right. That's
right.
true.
Not you don't always have seats in that behind that basket in LaFrac, and it is about 80 to 90 feet extra backspace back there.
Going back to the line is Stevenson again.
Whereas UC Santa Cruz plays their games in a Santa Cruz Fieldhouse, which is an arena that seats several thousand people.
Yeah.
So this is not anything unusual for them.
It's actually a nice arena. Of course, used 36 of the 52 months. Try that again. 36 of the 52 weeks is for equestrian events.
Oh, here.
Here.
Yeah. Sorry.
Lots of other uses for this arena as well.
Motocross.
At least
high school basketball.
3 or 3.5 weeks worth of college hoops, plus high school, plus motocross, plus
concerts.
Meekum Auto is in here a couple weeks. You've got concerts, you've got shows, and outside the equestrian, bull riding.
You've got the D3hoops.com team taking bad shots at midnight.
Yep. Well, I've gone away.
Basketball.
From that. Yeah.
Basketball.
And a foul called on the Banana Slugs as driving into the lane there was Hackley. And she'll go to the line with a 26-18 lead here for Amherst, who's quiet coming out of the second half blocks as they were in the first half blocks.
Dave, remind me what happened to the last floor that was here.
It was purchased by a rather famous musician and star, Mr. Garth Brooks. They used the arena to set up a temporary stage before his return to the road, as it were, as both free throws were good to extend the lead here for Amherst. And so they set up the old floor in a convention hall. They got tons of ceiling space, and they used it for basketball for Garth, his band and crew during downtime. He loved the floor so much. Nice drive and basket there for the Slugs. He loved the floor so much he bought it and helped them buy a new one. So this is the second year we've had this floor, all thanks to Mr. Brooks.
And I think, we finally gotten to the point where the floor is good.
Yeah.
This is a good floor. We had a good floor before. We had kind of an iffy floor for a couple years.
Had a few dead spots.
Yep. Clonk. You could hear them.
Yep. Here's a little slipping and sliding, but not as bad as earlier this run of games. It's a 10-point lead for Amherst.
Nice post move by Eck right there.
Absolutely beautiful post move. And that's going to be a carrying violation. Ball rolled up the side of Tom and onto her shoulder, and she couldn't keep her feet from moving. And it's a turnover back to the Mammoths, who, and I mean this seriously, only have a 10-point lead. I think a lot of people looked at this on paper and thought this was going to be a well-in-hand game for Amherst. And UC Santa Cruz played the first 3 quarters of the first half, more in control of the game than Amherst had.
Yeah, but the rest of it was a 17-4 run to end the half by Amherst.
Right now.
And that's a big deal.
Long 2, no good for Amherst. And here come the Slugs the other direction. Good defense, though, keeping Katina from being able to go anywhere. And then a traveling violation, as clearly Young was expecting a call, though the defenders seemed pretty parked in their position. I think Young was just hoping for a call more than anything. These officials, as we said in the first game, aren't buyers. They don't tend to buy what players try to sell.
Well, I'm certain that they've seen better attempts to sell.
That's probably a fair argument. They do a lot of NAIA and D2 1 games out here, as a player control foul is going to be called on a push-off for Amherst, and so that will give it back to the Banana Slugs. Checking into the game is Jackie Nagel, a 6-foot senior forward from Colchester, Vermont, and taking a seat is McCarthy.
Not much in terms of foul trouble either from the first half.
No.
McCarthy with 2, Hendricks with 2. Now on the opposite side, Sparks and Stevenson with 2 for Santa Cruz.
Nice curl on the elbow by Young, who cut in when everybody expected her to flare out and got a wide open layup. Cuts the deficit to 30-22.
Yeah, Santa Cruz not going away.
No. Hats off to the Banana Slugs, not afraid by the defending champion or number 3 parts of Amherst's resume, as the shot from Eck is good. I say Eck.
You're correct. I like Eck's game. I mean, I assume you're correct on the pronunciation.
Yep,
you're
no,
correct on the person.
Yep. I just wanted to make sure.
There's not too many ways to pronounce Eck.
Just wasn't sure if it was an E.
Eek.
That's what I was afraid of. Shot clock down to 6. I gave it an extra second. Ball out of bounds. 6 seconds here for Santa Cruz to try and get a shot off, with 6:02 remaining here in the third quarter at the D3Hoops.com Classic at South Point Arena and South Point Hotel in Las Vegas, New Mexico. I moved it from states. It's in Nevada, folks. I'm just messing around. Shot up. No good. Nice rebound. Can get it in.
Yeah.
Well done, Stevenson.
Huge putback. I mean, because you don't want to go one and done in a lot of cases, but especially when a team's trying to put you away.
Yeah. Cuts the deficit to 8. Hackley with possession, trying to look inside to Hendricks. Will drive inside, kick out instead to Fox. Fox kick out back to Hackley. She'll float it inside to Nagel, who was having a bit of a battle with the Slugs, and they get the ball back.
Yeah, Stevenson got in there, deflected the ball, and then took it away.
3-pointer. Banana Slugs not going anywhere. The shot made by Katina, who's had a couple threes so far today, cuts the deficit to 5.
Yeah, and Stevenson might not officially get an assist for that because, the ball traveled about 80 feet between deflection and shot, but it's really her that made that possession happen.
Handoff. Fox, 3-pointer, good.
Yeah.
So she returns the favor and cuts the deficit, or extends the lead, to 8.
3 of 6 from downtown. Now Amherst on the afternoon.
5 minutes left to go here in the third quarter. Driving in, kick. Now wasn't ready for it with Sparks. Kicks it out. Long 2 on the way from Stevenson is no good, and Amherst is going to come the other direction with pace. They're trying to hit the accelerator a little bit here.
It looks a little more intentional now in the second half.
Eck up, under, no good, but we'll go to the line to shoot 2.
And I think you're right about pace, but it's as much about being intentional. You know, it's that sounds like one of those new agey things, right? But but you want to be more, make it obvious that you want to do something. Going through the motions is the opposite of that.
Correct. Checking into the game for Amherst, Megan Sullivan, the 5'10" junior guard from Granby, Massachusetts, and gives Hackley a break.
I totally turned into a self-help book right there.
On sale, your nearest bookseller. Shot up and good as Amherst hits 1 of 2 to extend the lead to 9. Banana Slugs with the weave at top. Find an opportunity. 10-foot floater, no good for Yolo. And we'll come the other direction.
Did we get an official pronunciation of that?
Nope.
Uyoa?
I am really, honestly not positive. Asked for, did not receive.
YOLO would be awesome, but I don't think that's correct.
No, it's not that. I suspect it's Yulao, to be honest with
Uloa, or Uyoa, if it's Spanish.
Feed inside spin, left hand, no good. Put back by Fox is no good. By the way, hats off to Sparks in the defensive effort against Nagel, as Nagel couldn't get a good look on the left hand there. Stevenson with the ball, going up against Hendricks. Now faces a double team, clears it. 3-pointer on the way, nothing but the bottom of the net for Young. And Santa Cruz wants to talk things over after cutting the deficit to within 1.
You know, if Todd Kent is one of those coaches who only likes to take timeouts when you have a little bit of momentum, that's the right spot to do it.
Absolutely.
You talked about the double team underneath, and then just a good job of finding Young out of the perimeter, because it was not an easy find. You know, Young was kind of screened from Stevenson, who was getting double teamed in the post. It was hard to see her from that angle because it's the same angle that we had on Young from the opposite direction here. But a nice look and a nice open basket.
3:53 left to go here in the third quarter. It is Amherst 36-30. And Pat wants to see our fancy little shot.
I just like the GoPro shot. I'm sorry.
There's a look at the South Point Arena wide fisheye angle from basket to basket and up into the lights. The only thing you don't see is the scoreboard just above that camera shot.
You're not missing anything.
You're not missing a darn thing.
Yeah, that needs to be replaced.
Apparently
we understand it's coming.
Yeah, apparently will be.
But it's the best scoreboard that 1999 has to offer.
Some of these teams don't even have that kind of scoreboard.
No, that's true. This is like I always envisioned this is like if you were Cal State Northridge, this would be what your arena would be like.
True.
That's still a place, right? Cal State Northridge?
It is.
Okay.
It is indeed.
Just checking.
3:53 left to go. It'll be Amherst possession 94 feet away.
Is that Blue Frame Technologies we're using?
It is. I want to thank Blue Frame for their assistance with our technology with the production truck. Appreciate their assistance as we use it for our software.
Still wish there were an actual production truck, because that would be
cool. That'd be outstanding. Ack finds yourself wide open underneath as 2 slugs collide at the baseline defensively, and Amherst back out to an 8-point lead.
To call that a pretty reverse layup does not really do it justice.
No. I think Eck just also went, whoa, I'm open.
And also, hey, I'm 5 feet past the basket.
Yeah, that's true. Interestingly enough, points in the paint, no, not really a big number for Amherst in this one right now. They only have a 14-10 advantage.
Which means they've been losing that advantage here in the second half because it was 12-4 at the break.
Though they've just gotten 4 points total in the last 2 runs in the paint. 40-30 the lead now for Mammoths. I was going to call that a baby hook, but it was more of a throw from Sparks, and it's no good. Less than 3 to play here in the third. Eck with possession, hands off to Fox. The one advantage that Amherst playing a slow pace is you get to learn the names easier. Because you get time to look at them before they get rid of the ball.
There you go. Whatever works for you, man.
Sullivan has it and gets her pocket picked. Here come the slugs the other direction. A little floater somehow gets past two Mammoth players. And then Sparks swats it out of bounds. Will belong to Amherst.
Yeah, Uyo's lack of height. She floats that. She's listed at 5'2". She floats it over two 6-foot players, and somehow the
one of them missed it on the up, and one missed it on the down.
And the trailing player on the break was there to get it.
Yeah, perfectly thrown floater.
Hey, that's why you fill the lanes on your fast break, right?
Absolutely.
The things we learned in 8th grade.
2:10 left to go here in the third quarter. We have a not surprisingly low-scoring affair, 40-30. Though about midway through the first, I would think we'd be surprised to see this score in the third. Turnaround no good for Hendricks. She then passes it out. The Slugs are all over the place for defense here, and it's giving Amherst just a little bit of some hassles.
Yeah, Stevenson did a nice job. I'm sorry, not Stevenson, but now I've lost this person. Pereira did a nice job, but then was just not quite able to hang on to it, and Eck was able to corral it. And
Pereira unfortunately gets beat off the pump fake by McNamara. And Amherst now with a 12-point lead, I believe their biggest of the game. Less than 90 seconds to play in the quarter.
First basket of the afternoon for McNamara.
Pereira with possession. Drives in, nice aggressive move, missed the left-handed runner. And then Amherst comes up with the rebound.
Eck.
Yeah, it's all about Eck. Quick pass, Fox, shot from about 5 feet is good, and Amherst starting to put their foot down. 44-30 with 66 seconds left to go here in the third quarter. Ulau with the ball, hands off to Tom. We'll just try a different one every time.
I can understand what you're doing there, yep.
Stevenson with possession, facing a much taller Nagel. Pereira for three, and it's good. So the Slugs aren't going to let Amherst get completely away from them. Cut the deficit to 11.
That's a good look by Pereira, too. You can't be afraid to take that shot in a big game.
Uh, 22 seconds left, feed inside. That's going to be a travel or a foul. They're going to call a foul. Otherwise, it was a couple pirouettes inside by Nagel. And fouls on Stevenson, her third. Nagel go to the line here to shoot. First one up and rattles out. As the Slugs once again bring in subs as Young and Katina will come in. Stevenson and Pereira will take a seat. So Slugs go into a little bit of a smaller lineup, one that they're more used to. As it's Tom, Stevenson, Katina, Sparks, and Young out there, I believe.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Nope, Sparks is off. So
I see Young, though.
They've gone a little bit smaller than that as the second free throw is good. 12-point lead for the Mammoths.
Well, and
it's Ulo.
It kind of only goes small and smaller, really. The big lineup for Santa Cruz is not big compared to most D3s.
Sparks is the only one with any significant height at 6 feet, though Stevenson's listed at 5'11". Missed opportunity, 2 seconds left in the quarter. Runner from Fox almost falls, but that's how the quarter will end as Amherst has the 45-33 lead at the end of the third quarter. Take a quick break. When we come back, fourth quarter action. You're watching the D3Hoops.com Classic from South Point Arena.
For the love of the game. That's what it's all about, they say. But for those of us who are Division III student athletes, it's more than that.
It's more about team and the schools and communities we represent.
And for the many of us blessed with the strength to compete in sport at the college level, we understand that with what we were given comes a special obligation.
Our obligation to help those who have their own special needs and whose love for the game is no less intense.
That is why NCAA Division III teamed up with Special Olympics. Since August of 2011, we and others from Division III campus communities have volunteered more than 250,000 hours, time away from the classroom and practice field, reaching across the country to coach and mentor Special Olympics athletes.
And to learn that in giving, we receive so much more in return. Help us keep that dream alive.
Be part of it.
Get involved.
You can make a difference.
Okay. Welcome back to the 8th annual D3Hoops.com Classic as we enter the fourth quarter here. in women's basketball action between Amherst and Santa Cruz. Amherst has the 12-point lead. And we should point out the second of women's games to wrap up our women's coverage for the day. 3 men's games coming up, Pat.
Yep, and Carroll University is actually walking into the arena right now. They face Augsburg in our first men's game, which comes up at 2 p.m. Pacific. Then it's followed by 6th-ranked Ramapo against number 14 Ohio Wesleyan, and we cap off the night with UW Stevens Point and number 13 Wartburg. Some great men's basketball action still to come here as we are in game 2 of 5 today, or game 2 of 15 overall.
Augsburg is here. They're just sitting and relaxing, watching Carroll walk in.
They're probably just, I hope they were outside when it was warm, because it's 60 degrees warmer than it is in Minneapolis.
That is true. There's a foul on the baseline. He's going to give Amherst possession underneath. Stevenson, I believe, called for the foul. Correction, it's Malden.
Don't be maudlin about Malden.
Yeah, seriously. Amherst, by the way, if you didn't know, is in their road black uniforms with white numbers and purple trim. And the Slugs are in their white uniforms with, what is it?
It's a really dark blue with gold trim.
Yeah, that's an odd-looking color. 45-33, the remaining score remains.
It's much darker in the uniform than it is on their logo.
Yes, it almost has a green tint to it, it seems. But
I think it's just the lighting is weird.
Very possible. Long 2, foot on the line, no good for Amherst, as they have not had the best of shooting nights, as a jump ball will give the ball to the Slugs.
Amherst is 38% from the floor.
Okay, it's improved.
Yeah, they've definitely gotten better. They had a really good third quarter, 7 of 15 in the third quarter. Amherst also 1 of 2 from downtown. Santa Cruz was 6 of 16 in the third quarter, 37%, 3 for 4 from beyond the arc.
9 minutes left to go here in the fourth, in a game that the Slugs have played very well in. Stayed with Amherst, have trailed by as many as 13, but also have led by as many as 3. Kick out, shot on the way from 15, air ball.
Yeah, that was a good look for Kim Tom. It just did not come close to falling. Yep. Yeah, right. The play produced.
Yep.
I'm sure if you're Todd Kent, the play produced exactly the kind of shot you wanted it to.
Yep.
Just not the success.
A lot of times it's more about the execution, not the finish necessarily that a coach will be pleased with. If you miss it, you miss it. But if you at least did what you wanted, that's not a bad thing.
I don't want anyone to get executed, so.
Well, no. Drive in and runner no good for McNamara. Into the corner, McNamara with possession. She's out there with Hendricks and Nardella, who hasn't seen a lot of time today.
Yeah, none.
And Hackley.
Yeah, Nardella's out there for the first time.
Nardella for the first time. Okay,
Yep.
A foul inside, and that one's going to be an easy call on Stevenson on a push-off as Amherst player got position. Nardella, then, we'll mention, is a 6-foot sophomore forward from Syracuse, New York. As Sparks will re-enter the game and give Stevenson a break, who I believe Stevenson in foul trouble.
Yeah, so that leaves just Kate Sullivan and Jenna Schumacher, who haven't gotten action for Amherst today. So far.
Yeah, the sister of Megan Sullivan, Kate Sullivan. Long shot, no good. And a foul on the rebound is going to go against the Slugs. And the foul's called on Malden, her second foul, team's third. So they're quickly heading towards a double bonus early in this one. This quarter, that is. 8 minutes left, feed inside. Kick out. Amherst more than willing to take time and run things, especially the reserve unit who wants to prove they can play out there.
Right, and Eku's got the game-high 15 points and is 7 of 10 and did all those great things in the third period, is on the bench right now.
Hackley missed the shot. Amherst gets the rebound and another opportunity to score. Fox drive, kiss off glass, and good.
Fox, another player, had a really good third period, a good second period. Now she's got 14.
Biggest lead of the game for the almost did it. Mammoths 47-33. Almost slipped out.
Yeah, that's right. If you think it back, you can hear the fricative. That's not right. I don't know the parts of speech like that.
No, I have no clue. Shot off glass and good. That's going to fall. Make it fall. 12 points.
Banks always open in Las Vegas.
Always. 7:03 left to go here. Amherst again, the defending national champs. And, of course, number 3 ranked team in the country. I say that because it's right there on your screen. As Hackley's runner is no good. And the effort by Nardella drives into the bottom of the rim. And so the Banana Slugs bring the ball down, looking to maybe make this a single-digit deficit. Almost did off the three-pointer from Katina. I think she may have been thinking the same thing. But
It
Amherst
was
has possession and
It was
coming
on
down.
target, just a couple inches too far.
Nardella fakes a three. Now to Hackley. Hackley, who has an advantage, can't get position though. Good defense, to be honest, there from Tom, who didn't let Hackley turn. 7 seconds on the shot clock. Hackley with it, spin move, right-handed on the left-hand spin, doesn't fall. And the rebound picked up by Katina, who seems to be everywhere. Nice floater to Sparks, just out of Sparks' reach. Nice idea. I think Sparks may have left her feet a little early.
Well, I think Sparks not gave up on the play, but
No.
gave
Didn't
up on
expect
the
it.
right. Was not expecting the entry pass that far, so she was setting up a little bit higher.
Yeah.
And then the pass came, and it was too late for her to adjust.
McCarthy into the game for Amherst, replacing Hendricks. Behind the back dribble from McNamara. Into the corner, Fox for three, no good. Here come the Banana Slugs, trailing by 12, 47-35. Katina's dead set to hit this three, and it misses it again. Same way, off the back iron. Tried to find McCarthy ahead and couldn't do it, so backing out the dribble there by McNamara.
Based on what I've seen, I think Fox is the emotional leader of this five.
Yeah, I'd agree with you.
And getting the ball in her hands would be helpful.
Gets it into her hands, who then feeds McCarthy. McCarthy hits a shot and the lead back out to 14, 49-35. Amherst holding Santa Cruz at this point to about the average they do. And Santa Cruz probably content to only holding Amherst to 49. Not that they have to as we get ready. It looks like Kate Sullivan to come into the game.
That's Megan, but yes.
Oh, it's a Megan? You're right. It is number 5 on the jersey. Feed inside, and Hackley's struggled today, but finally gets that one to fall. Biggest lead of the game now to 16.
It's got to be a little stronger with it, a little more intentional, in my opinion.
GP Gromacki takes a moment here as Santa Cruz calls the timeout to chat with our photographer, Larry Radloff. He did that before the timeout got called, for the record. Timeout called as 3 left for the Banana Slugs. I just watched GP turn and start having a conversation as the ball was heading down the other end of the court.
I can only assume that Larry's getting photos of the back of those shirts because we have.
Oh, absolutely.
The last time they were here, we did not have such high-resolution photography available.
That's what he's working
to us.
on. Yeah, I think didn't they have a lighter version one year too? The first year maybe.
They've only been here one other time.
No. I swear I've seen a lighter version of that shirt. Maybe it was just Hawaiian look.
I'm trusting my record book here.
No, I don't doubt that.
I think it's
I just
correct.
swear they were here twice. Huh.
Well, some of them were, but not all of them that other time. Don't forget men's basketball action coming up in just a little bit, about 45 minutes from now. We tip off between Carroll University and Augsburg University. That's at 2 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Central. Then at 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern, it's 6th-ranked Ramapo against number 14 Ohio Wesleyan. And we'll wrap up the night with UW Stevens Point and number 13 Wartburg. Wartburg, surprisingly, into the round of 16 last year.
Oh, Wartburg had 4 wins in the IAC as the road team, or they're not even in the tournament.
Right. And yes,
and then
they had to
win.
win.
The big teams.
They had to win to get into the Iowa Conference tournament. They were
win
a 5 or 6 seed in the Iowa Conference tournament, so they had to
yeah.
win 3 road games to get out. Then they won 2 games at UW River Falls in the regional round and got to the sectionals. An impressive run for them, and they've parlayed that into. Oh, by the way, still this year coming in at 8-1.
Yeah, and I, a voter, will talk more about it as one who wasn't totally convinced until recently.
I would have believed you.
Considering how much they lost. There's that 3-pointer the Slugs have been looking for. It's finally hit by Tom. 51-38 as Santa Cruz hits the tray. 4:30 left to go in this more interesting battle than I think we expected on paper.
Definitely more interesting.
Shot by Megan Sullivan, no good, but a foul on the rebound.
3 of 13 from the floor in the fourth quarter for Amherst, 1 of 5 for Santa Cruz.
Santa Cruz, Amherst shooting. Yeah, first quarter was where it was. 3 of 12 from the floor at 25%. They've improved to 39%.
Yep.
On the game, as that 3-pointer is good from McNamara. And it's 54-38. This is about the score I think you probably would have anticipated in the second or third quarter in the sense of spread. Santa Cruz, I was about to say, great move on the drive by Young.
By Hackley.
Hackley just closed the door. Ackley said, "We will have none of this."
This is not a thing I will allow you to do.
No, emphatic. Oh, Stevenson lost track of the defense, tried to flip it outside, and McNamara gets the easy steal. Less than 4 minutes to play here in the fourth quarter, and GP Gromacki is sitting with his legs crossed. Tells you all you need to know about what he thinks.
Yeah, he should be more satisfied with his team's play in the second, third, and fourth period.
Absolutely. And an offensive foul will be called. I believe that is going against Nardella for a push-off. That's the one thing, Pat, I don't know if we can talk in nauseum about the changes that are coming to officiating in Division III. That's beside the point. One thing I know,
if we haven't already,
one of the things I think here that I've always noticed is they don't allow the offensive stuff. They don't allow the push-off. They don't allow the legal screen. And that's the way the rules are supposed to be. We see some flaws in that in Division III, and that's what will be solved. But you're seeing that in this game. That has been called a few times. It's a great spin move from Tom to hit the basket, cuts the deficit to 14.
I know you're very optimistic about it. The thing I would say is that things that they're hoping to solve are things that they will work on. It takes a lot to solve officiating. Officiating is a huge thing. It's this,
a little too far.
You've got, on any given day, you've got about 180 to 200 games on a Wednesday or a Saturday nationwide. You've got a lot of officiating crews out there, and it will take a while to filter these things through. But it would be nice if those things happen.
Two things. Kate Sullivan, by the way, into the game, the 5'8" freshman guard from Granbury, Massachusetts. I think the two things that will help facilitate, one, now officials will be assigned by a national assigner to the national tournament, so there's going to be no backslap, as it were, hey, I'll get you a game type mentality. Also, these assigners from around Division III have been yearning for this. The guy who's in charge is used to be one of those assigners who've been asking for this kind of help and not getting it from the D1 guy because he's buried. Right. So they are looking for this. The problem is teaching guys to do things differently. That is going to be the trick.
Well, and I would say that it's hard to, even though you've done in a positive standpoint, I wouldn't paint all assigners with a broad brush either, because
absolutely
not all of them are trying to do the best
three-pointer from Granbury. It seemed like that was from Granby, Massachusetts.
Megan Sullivan, nice shot right there.
She also got fouled, but no call.
It's okay.
Yeah, no big deal here with 2:08 left. Yeah, and by the way, I should point out the women's assigner is a different person than I was referring to as Santa Cruz responds, and they're going to sub in 5 players, basically the bench. There's a women's assigner and a men's assigner. Both of them are former assigners of officials in Division
coordinator
III.
of officials.
The coordinator of officials. So, they're looking for this, and they want this. There's a timeout called, by the way, from Santa Cruz, I believe. Yes, it was Santa Cruz.
To let the subs in, but they are going to actually talk to.
Yeah.
But I could see that where also coaches are very eager, I'm sure, to have some
consistency.
Yeah, exactly. Some consistent measurement brought into it as well, where you have some consequences. All of them get to fill out these coaches' ratings at the end of the game, and I'm sure 75% of them, don't ever see any impact from those ratings. They just send them into a black hole.
Well, and we don't have evaluators necessarily. And I already know the men's evaluator's been at some holiday tournaments. Right. He's gone to watch officials.
Miami or something,
He was in Miami, and I know he's been elsewhere. I don't know about the women's. I haven't talked to her. But, they've supplied money to them to do that. Good. And that is a good thing. And now, so we'll see what happens. My bigger point is a nice turn inside by Nagel. My bigger point is officiating we see here is kind of more where I think we're going to be headed in the terms of what is called and consistency and all that.
It'd be nice if games go faster, too.
Cool. That would be a beautiful thing. Foul inside, and I'll say this one official definitely keeps his eye on the inside play and doesn't allow anything to go too far. And that's
fine.
Not a problem with me. He's consistent. 43-59. The deficit for Santa Cruz, who, believe it or not, led by about 3, I think, in the first quarter.
By 4, 13-9.
There it was, and for a significant amount of time in that first quarter, before Amherst finally realized this was a game. And in the second quarter, finally put their foot down a little bit and have extended the lead since, as we were about 75 seconds left to go in this one, 59-43.
Good reminder for Amherst. They have a lot to live up to, not just the walnut and bronze, of course, that they currently hold. But, yeah, exactly. They're a target. People are going to come out for them with their best every night. Nice shot there by Jackie Nagel. It's going to get a heck of a lot tougher in the NESCAC because there are multiple teams there capable of beating them.
The women's race in the NESCAC is going to be great this year.
Looking forward to it.
Not just Tufts and Amherst, but Bowdoin is showing that they're just going to be fierce. I think Williams is going to rear its head a little bit. you've got some others in there who are going to make things interesting for Amherst this season. This is not an Amherst Tufts race in the NESCAC. It's much deeper this season.
Yeah.
Of course, that matchup in early or mid-January, I believe, is one to watch. It'll be the only time they'll face each other in regulation or regular season. The inside move by Nagel is good, and now Amherst kind of putting on the foot a little bit here with a 20-point lead.
Well, and you have
Santa Cruz out of gas.
And you have a senior that you can bring in to the game, Nagel, who's got, maybe not a ton of experience, but you have, just experience of being in the Amherst system for 3 seasons, and you can bring a little maturity to that second line, and against a tired UC Santa Cruz starting crew or an inexperienced UCSC bench, you can have a lot of success.
Santa Cruz will take a day off, and then they'll play Occidental to wrap up Hamlin to wrap up the last day. They're the first game against Hamlin at 10 a.m. Pacific time on Saturday. Amherst will not take a day off. Tomorrow they will take on number 6 Trine, who won the first game of the day, and they get the win here today. The final, Amherst 64, UC Santa Cruz 43 in a game that was closer than that score indicates. Amherst improves his 8-0 on the season, while Santa Cruz falls to 2-9. And again, Amherst will take on number 6 and 11-0 Trine tomorrow at noon Pacific time, 3 Eastern time, whereas UC Santa Cruz, as we just mentioned, will take the day off and will play Hamlin on the final day, 10 a.m. tip, Santa Cruz against Hamlin. Final stats and thoughts from you, Pat.
Yeah, start with the stats. Finish with the thoughts.
Start
with the thoughts. Finish
Perfect.
with the stats.
Whatever
okay.
you'd like to do, sir.
All right. Well, we'll start with the stats then. As Santa Cruz falls to 2-9. And they were led by Kim Tom with 14 points, 6 of 16 shooting, 2 for 2 from beyond the arc. CJ Katina with 8, 3 of 9 from the floor, 2 for 6 from 3-point range. Katie Young with 5, Jenna Sparks with 5, Caitlin Stevenson with 4. Off the bench, it was Catherine Malden with 4. It was Sue Hansi Pereira with 3. Brianna Yola did not score, along with Grace Weinzettel there at the end. Elena Alvarez as well for the total of 43 points. Santa Cruz, 15 of 49 for 30.6%. That's from the floor. 7 of 15 from beyond the arc. A good afternoon shooting for 3-point range, 47%. 6 of 10 from 3-point range. They turned over the ball 19 times compared to 14 for Amherst, and they were out-rebounded 41-28. On the Amherst side of the ledger, as they improved to 8-0. They're led by Madeline Eck with a game-high 15 points, 7 of 10 shooting from the floor, 0 for 1 from downtown, 1 for 4 from the free throw line. Hannah Fox added 14 points, 6 of 15 shooting, 2 for 4 from 3-point range in her 29 minutes of work. Emma McCarthy with 8 points on 3 of 7 shooting. Hannah Hackley with 6. Nagel off the bench with 8, much of them in the last couple of minutes. Megan Sullivan with 6. Maeve McNamara with 5. Cam Hendricks started and scored 2 points. Kate Sullivan in limited minutes off the bench did not score, along with Natalie Nardella for the total of 64 points. Amherst, 26 of 60 from the floor, 43%, 5 of 10 from downtown. You can do the math, 7 of 11 from the free throw line. I mentioned the rebounding advantage. That was significant, 42-28, and it led to 15 second chance points for Amherst compared to just 5 for UC Santa Cruz. Amherst also dominated the paint, 34-12, and then a 19-7 scoring advantage off the bench. Those are the kind of things, those are the things where basically it all evened out. But you look at the final 3 quarters, Dave, you take out the 3 for 12 in the first quarter for Amherst, and they finished 23 for 48 from the floor, which is just shy of 50%. Still, Gromacki would probably want better, but a pretty good afternoon once they got their legs under them, I guess.
Yeah, once Amherst kind of woke up to the fact that the Santa Cruz wasn't going to be an easy team to get past, they ended up playing some pretty good basketball, and thus the 20-point win. And for Santa Cruz, again, hats off. Played hard, weren't afraid of the Mammoths, didn't shy away from them, and took it to them, especially in the first quarter.
Yeah, and they had that lead early on. Then the things began to get away from them. But Kim Tom, when things did not work out for her early on. She was 2 for 7, 2 for 8, 2 for 9, 3 for 12, but kept plugging away. Hit 3 of her last 4 shot attempts. They're in a situation where this is they're playing as an independent, right? They have not a lot of games against Division III opponents after this weekend, so
They'll have a pretty good SOS with this.
Oh yeah, this will help. This will help on a neutral floor.
You never know; that might get them in the door. You just
not at 2-8,
yeah,
not at 2-9, but
I say that a little bit facetiously. So Amherst with the win improves to 8-0. Santa Cruz again down to 2-9. That's it for the women's side of things on day one. We'll get back to action tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Pacific time. Men's action coming up. Carroll and Augsburg are warming up. We're about less than 30 minutes away between those two foes, the Augies and the Pioneers out of the West region. We'll be joined by Ira Thor, and we'll get things underway here at D3Hoops.com. Give us a break. We'll be back. You're watching the Division III D3Hoops.com Classic, 8th Annual from South Point Arena. We'll take a break on the stream. Join us back here for the men's action.